Hello, and welcome to today's analysis of the NQ. Um, it is Tuesday, 14th of October. Right, right. We've had a pretty eventful week. Um, Interesting. We got a big old push down. Um, and yeah, I'm here to catch us up and see uh, where we are, the bigger picture. Very important part of making trades is understanding where everything is. I think overall, personally, I think that it's a very important part of trading. So today I'm just going to look at larger stuff, make sure the environment that we have presented on our screens is accurate, and get our levels right, causality of coming into certain levels thought about beforehand, so we understand what certain moves could mean, you know, how to interact with certain moves, and all of that good stuff. Okay, so what happened? There's a big push down. Sure. I was talking about absorption as we were pushing up this whole way, and just very, very cautious of a lot of the PA we were building on the way up into this push. Now, just like everything in trading, timing is a very, very difficult thing to get. But as I was up here, I was talking about 8-hour divs all the way up with money flow. And then we had this push up here, right? Which didn't give me the kind of wave divergences I was looking for. I did note that personally, I did note that as price came up internally inside this zone, we had extreme divergence with money flow and waves. And there was a little change of character inside here, so you got to be aware of that as well, But I was thinking that because money flow was relatively thick, there was a chance we could take this high maybe once more here, come up like this. And then I would have been really, really confident on looking for kind of shorts around there. Depending on what price action did. But it kind of just front ran that whole idea and came up internally, and we had a large dump. Which is fine, We had so see we have this wave here, money flow with a peak. I'm aware that money flow is overall, thinning in general. But for me to do a trade that would take into account all of the liquidity down there, I would like to see that, as Andre calls it, the final damage M, which would have been like this, take out that high. Which we didn't get. We kind of got our M inside here. And if you did, it was on Friday. I don't trade Fridays, but if you did get into a trade there, I would have like maybe taken profits when we took out this kind of zone, just because of we could wick into this and they could do something like there to take that high, and I think that's what my reasoning would have been. Would not have expected it to have done exactly what it did in as aggressive manner as it did, but here we are. Anyway, what does this mean for structure? Well, we're now interacting with bigger levels of structure. We've come down and interacted with our most recent externally fueled wash. And we're kind of sitting in between two of them. So this is our midterm breaks of structure that we have here. Why do I have this one still on the chart? And, you know, because if we're interacting with this one, surely there would have been a break of structure involved around here. That's a fair point. If you wanted to take that into account, you could say that because this washed here before we came up, you could kind of say that this is a structural point that has been broken, you know. And you, that's fair. That's a fair observation, you know, I would say. The thing is, directly after breaking this structural point, we have come into this little zone, which, if you remember, I was talking about this large time frame break of structure zone getting tapped, getting interacted with for a kind of greater trend higher low in order to confirm this and kind of base out on the weekly, daily to weekly, and then continue up. So another reason that I'm iffy on counting this as a whole break of structure zone is, well, look, price immediately, once we hit this external area, opened above this point, pushed up aggressively, changed character internally on very small time frames, and we didn't necessarily start making PA down here, basing out down here, and you know, moving down from this zone in any way. We came straight back up to a much more valid structural point, in my opinion, which is the actual change of character. Another reason are the SMTs. So on the Nasdaq CFD chart, the traditional markets, we didn't even break this zone. We came right down to it, down here, and pushed up. And this could be considered an SMT, and just aggressive liquidity being grabbed, right? And once you puncture so many different layers of structure, I start to look at just the layer of structure that gave the reaction, right? And yeah, I just had higher zones of interest to contextualize my view than this little one down here. So what happened? Well, we had our structural point here, we had a little breaker here. And yesterday, we made a gap. So we have an RTH gap down here, which I will show you here. And we've actually come into it during UK and filled at the 50%, which is a bit interesting. UK doesn't normally fill America's, US's RTH gaps. US likes to do it itself, but UK has seemed to come into it. I wouldn't really be longing this fill. We also have a price. We have a gap lower as well here on price action itself. Which I'm kind of looking to get filled, you know, before taking any longs, really. Another reason I wouldn't necessarily take longs is we did come up and tap a 1 hour breaker and immediately changed character. So what's my current view on structure? Well, this push up could be our confirmation for this, to change character internally here, right? maybe come down, retrace. We could have a very aggressive retrace, or we could just retrace a small bit. And then this is an important zone for me if this kind of thing happens, right? If we start breaking down, then I'll start to assume more and more that we are in some kind of maybe reaccumulation leg, and we could come down into lower points because we have interacted with this larger time frame break of structure. We have liquidity all the way down until our LLBU for this, which is this guy back here. We also have order blocks and everything down there, which I'll talk about. So yeah, we could keep pushing down, or if we filled this gap below here sufficiently, maybe accumulated inside here and then broke this high, 25050, and start breaking up, then maybe this was a good enough liquidity area for us to just continue what was happening anyway. But right now we're just in between. We have to be aware that we changed structure on the larger kind of midterm time frames. Be aware that we could enter a bit more of a prolonged downtrend. But because of the aggressive price action we've gotten here, because of the SMTs, have to be aware that if they just start drifting it up, that we might have to just go with that, and this be this be our higher low on the daily or whatever. Because of the severity of the SMTs here, I don't want to see this low get interacted with. If it does, I will be using these levels as targets for price action to interact with and perhaps base out in the future. That kind of thing. But as long as these SMTs hold, it's definitely a candidate for a pretty strong higher low. We'll just have to see how it plays out. If I wanted to play devil's advocate for this large break of structure, interacted with this point here, hit a past daily VWAP. There was some other things here that I actually removed, but there was confluence here. We did come into a mitigated 12-hour block, which isn't amazing, but we could say that this is external liquidity. We just don't know yet. I want to let this get proven to me. So I'm going to leave that for now. Looking lower, we have levels down here. We have ascending lows coming into a 3-day order block. How's volume looking on this zone? Couple of volume gaps down here. Point of control down here, right on this liquidity line. Point of control. And if we're looking at the point of control of this range, it's a bit higher. This zone here, this consolidation, it's a bit higher here. Actually, I'll show you that point of control that I was just talking about. This is a past range point of control, and this is kind of our largest point of control. Okay, local range point of control, or just range. Matter. This is the past range, and then you could say that this could be our range if we're just coming out of here and we're going to reaccumulate in here while maintaining structure. You could say that this is the most important point of control that we have for that frame of reference. So we have couple of order blocks down here, but as we come down, I might take another look at them. We did tap a 4-hour block here. Just because it's within a mitigated 12-hour block, I'm kind of iffy on it. And also for the other reasons I was just talking about. I'm going to have to wait and see how I feel about this zone. We have an LLBU down here, which was a 24-minute internal fair value gap mitigation before moving away from that point. We could use that as a liquidity target if you wanted to. We have a 24-minute OB down here as well with a past daily VWAP. But again, these points, I kind of like to use them as very, very, very strong SFP locations. And if we just keep taking liquidity and moving down around them, I would be cautious about longing it. That's too far away to see. We have the level. Keep in mind how you'll interact with it. What plan you have to deal with that level, to approach that level. How is that contextualized within your plan? You know, it's all right to just say, I have this level, I'm going to do this, but I think for me it needs to be more cohesive to a narrative, an overarching narrative. So, but it's a zone to watch. There is a volume gap right on it. We can see what happens there. Psychological number, 24K. Lower than this, if we do come lower, I mean, I have levels. I haven't looked at them in a while. Might have to clean them up a small bit. We'll definitely have to clean them up. But honestly, breaking this low and this low, I don't know. That would be a large shift, I think. Anyway, that's too far away to even consider. Let's stick with what we have here. So look, for now, we have Powell talking later today. Still have US to interact with. Just range out here. I don't really have a very short-term plan today. I need to sit in the charts for a small bit before I get back into more aggressive day trading. What did I do? Did I take any trades? No, I've been trading Bitcoin actually. I've been trading Bitcoin during this. I took a short, an overnight short around here. Is it like 12 o'clock? Yeah. And I closed it when I woke up. That was pretty nice. And then I took some weekend shorts inside of this little range here. Shorts and longs. I was doing really well here actually. Where was it? Yeah, it was like here. Yeah, hit this, took a short down to here. I got this retracement up to here, and then I actually shorted it down to here. And I think I went to bed then because it was like 2 a.m. I was real happy with that. But no, for Nasdaq, I've just been letting it breathe. So, yeah, that's what I see. We'll have to see how it develops, you know. And as they paint their picture with price a bit more, we might be able to add up certain things. But currently, you know, even for anchored VWAPs and stuff, we did hit this. It's just this price gap below us that's kind of freaking me out. I'm gonna wait until if they interact with that. It's a pretty large gap. All right, that's it for me today, guys. Peace and happy trading. I'll catch you tomorrow. Bye.